These are notes number 4. We're learning about multiplying special cases. Your notes should be set up from class and the warm-up should be done. And the essential question here is, how do I square a binomial? But the warm-up is reviewing how to add or subtract polynomials. So that should be done from in the beginning of class. All right, so here's the beginning of the notes. And this is from the book. So I'm going to move this so that you can see. Let me just show real quick though. It's 11-4 multiplying special cases. So make sure you look through your book as well. I'm showing a lot of the examples that are in the book, but we just are making them as notes. There's the key concept. Again, that's page 662. So that is the key concept. It's like a kind of not like a formula, but it's like a shortcut on how to know what you get when you multiply out a binomial that's squared. So anyways, go ahead and write this in your notes. Pause if you ever need to, if I'm moving too quickly. Okay. So here is our key concept. We have oh, that doesn't work. A plus B squared. And I want you guys to remember what that means. Whenever anything is squared, it means it's two of them. Multiply it times itself. So this is what it means. And if you didn't want to use the shortcut I'm showing you, you can always just look at this and think, oh, it's multiplying two binomials. I can do distributing A times A times B, and then B times A, B times B. You could still do that. You could even do the box. But there is a shortcut way of knowing what to get, and it's this. So you could just get the answer from here to here. That's why it's a shortcut, by saying, okay, it's A squared first and it's B squared last, and in the middle, it's 2 times A times B. So multiply those together and then double it. That's how you get this. And then the only difference is it might be A minus B, so it's just changing the signs. Of course, that means A minus B times A minus B, and then it would equal this. So again, if you don't like going straight from here to here, that's the shortcut. You could still, like on this one, you could still distribute A times A times negative B times A, negative B times negative B. You could distribute it all, or you could do the box and multiply. But this is the shortcut. So you could just think, okay, it's the first term squared, and then the last one is the last term squared. And then in the middle, notice how this one has a minus sign. So I'm going to just trace that in purple to show that that one's minus, whereas the one up above had a plus. That's really the only difference between the two ways. So it's not like you have to memorize two different things. It's the same thing, except if it's a negative in the binomial, it's a minus for that middle term. Same thing there. If it's positive, then they're both positives. Okay, so that might look kind of weird. So here's some examples. And I'm going to go ahead and just work it out. I think I'm going to use pencil just in case. Okay, so it's the first example is x plus 4 squared. Remember, that means x plus 4 times itself, x plus 4. If you want to distribute, you could, but I'm going to show you how to use the shortcut. Since it's a plus, I'm looking at this one. This one. A squared, and then plus 2ab, and then plus b squared. So I would do x squared plus 2 times x times 4 plus, and then b squared, which is 4 squared. So I'm just going to put 16. Normally, I would do this middle part mentally, but I wanted you to see what the 2ab is like. It's 2 times the x times the 4. So if I simplify it, it stays x squared. 2 times 4 is 8, so 8x, and plus 16. And if you were to do FOIL, or like distributing, or do the box method, you'll come out with the same answer. So you'll see that the more practice you get, this is actually a faster way of getting it, but there is a chance you can make a mistake because maybe you don't quite do the multiplying right. So you got to be careful. All right, I'm going to show you the next one. I'm going to show you a little bit faster, just so you can see that this really is a shortcut. It's up to you if you want to use it. you could always distribute or use the box. Just remember that the squared means you multiply it times itself. Y minus 3 times y minus 3. But I'm going to use the shortcut here. I'm going to go from a minus b squared to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So a squared would be y squared. Then I have a minus sign since there's a minus in here. I'm going to do 2 times a times b. So 2 times y times 3. 2 times 3 is 6, so it's 6y. And then my last one is plus b squared, so that'd be plus 3 squared, so plus 9. So you can see it's a lot less work if you understand how to do it. If you think you're going to be confused after trying this a few times, give it a try. But if it's still confusing, there is nothing wrong with writing it out and just distributing or using the box. Okay, so let's do a couple more examples. And then I'll have some problems for you to try. And then we'll go over them when we come back into class. And also look at the left side of my notes. Notice that I don't have any questions there. Make sure you get your 3 questions on the left and a 3-sentence summary. I kind of want to show the key concept still. Okay, so, oh, now you can't see it. So let's follow that key concept and do the shortcut. So it's n minus 7 squared. I'm looking at the one with the minus. Remember, it would mean to write it out, n minus 7 times n minus 7, but I'm showing you the shortcut right now, so I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do n squared minus 2 times n times 7 plus 7 squared. I'm just substituting the n and the 7 for the a and the b. So n squared minus, don't forget that it's 2 times n times 7, so 14n, and then plus 7 squared, which is 49. So you can see how fast this way can be. You just have to make sure you're doing everything correct. Let me just show you real quick, just so that you guys believe me. So like I was saying, you could just distribute n minus 7 times itself. So I could do n times negative 7, n squared minus 7n. And then I go to this negative 7 and distribute to those two. So negative 7 times n is negative 7n again. And then negative 7 times negative 7 would be my plus 49. Notice how you have to combine the two middle terms. They are both negative, so you do add them and it stays negative. And then look at that. You end up with the same answer. So that might help you kind of understand like how we actually get that. Every time it works out like this, if it's a binomial squared, you're always going to have the same thing in the middle. And so that's why it's 2 times AB, 2AB, because it's always 2 times the two numbers multiplying times each other. So anyways, you can always check it that way if you're not sure. So let's follow this shortcut for 2x plus 9 squared. Notice it's a plus, so I'm looking at this one up here with the plus. A plus b squared, I have to have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So I always just think first squared, 2x squared is 2x times 2x, so 4x squared, plus I multiply them together, but then I have to times by 2. So 2x times 9 is 18x, 18x, and then you do times 2. So just to show you guys, that is what I'm doing right there. 18x times 2 would be 36x. Oops. So plus 36x, and then plus the last term squared, 81. So again, the first term squared, and then the last term squared. The middle is 2 times multiply them together. So double whatever you get when you multiply them together. So that's how you do this way. Give it a try. But like I said, if you forget it or you're not sure if you're doing it right, you can always distribute. This way always works too, or doing the box. Here are your try this problems. Give these a try. We'll work on these together in class. Pause if you need to. Let me just explain that number 1, it is just a binomial squared, h plus 2 squared. So follow the one from up above. And then number 2, 4x minus 6 squared. Follow the shortcut. Number 3, I thought, we should do like a actual kind of a real life application problem. Find an expression for the shaded region, or the shaded region's area. Write your answer in standard form. Standard form just means x squared and then the x and then the number, the constant. So we have one side of this square is x plus 4 by x plus 4. I had a hard time drawing in here. It's a x minus 1 and a x minus 1. So notice it's x minus 1 and x minus 1. This part should really be shaded, but if I shaded it, you wouldn't be able to read it. So think about how would you find the shaded part if you have to take out, again, you have to take out that white part, the x minus 1 by x minus 1. And again, it's area of squares. So remember how to find area of squares. We have the big square and the little square. Think about what would you do with the area of both shapes. Okay, we'll go over these back in class when we're together. Try them, and also don't turn in your notes until you have for sure finished your 3 questions on the left and a 3-sentence summary. You can always write your summary on the back of this page and just take a picture of it also, or you could try to write it like on a little sticky note and then put it somewhere, and that's fine too.